Viva Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the BeerDad and Brew podcast. As always, I am your host, the BeerDad himself, Justin Allen, and I'm joined by my co-host, Brando. Brandon, what's up, brother?
Hey, man. How's it going?
Hey, man. And this BeerDad and Brew podcast, as always, is brought to you by the Craft Lounge, Beaumont, California, just north of the 10 freeway.
Yes, sir.
The only bottle shop and tap room in the Inland Empire where you can get every single beverage your heart desires. Go see Jimmy. Tell him the BeerDad and Brew podcast sent you. And we'll talk about another sponsor here in a little bit. But first, Brandon, where are we? We're on a trip in our favorite rocket ship. Where are we?
We are on a trip. We are not too far from home, but a little bit further than we usually do our shows. We are in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Las Vegas, the city of lost wages. Wow. Okay.
And we're at one of my, I was going to be coy about it, but I'm just going to come right out and say we're at my favorite brewery in Las Vegas. I'm not going to hide it, man. And I'm not just saying that because we're sitting here at HUDL. I love the beer at this place. It's called HUDL Brewing Company, and it's here in the heart of the Arts District in Las Vegas. And anyone that's in Las Vegas and loves beer, if you don't go to HUDL, I don't know what you're doing.
Absolutely. So we are here at HUDL Brewing Company, Las Vegas, Nevada. Quite literally north of the Strip. So you can't get lost. Right here, as he said, in the Arts District. And we are joined by a very special guest today. We are joined by Joe Cuozzo, Brew Master at HUDL Brewing. Joe, how the hell are you?
I'm doing pretty damn good.
Awesome. Thanks for having us. We really appreciate this opportunity to come in here into your house and enjoy some beverages with you and talk shop. It's my first time here, not Brandon's first time here, so I'm excited. He told me nothing but great things. Again, we were talking before the show. I have met some of your HUDL family down in Murrieta, California, and they talked you guys up, and so I've always been following you, been on the radar, so I'm really happy to finally be here in person. And I may or may have not done a little pregame, and so far everything's good to go. So I really enjoy your Pilsner. It was amazing.
Yeah, all true natural ingredients. One of the things that we take here for our philosophy is sourcing true German malt for that grain bill. We normally like to use Heidelberg, which is extremely expensive. Anything coming from Europe right now is super expensive, $13 a pound, but it's worth every single cent once you taste it. We use all liquid cultures in every beer outside of our sour.
Okay.
We do a lot of yeast generation here, so we repitch our yeast a lot. This specific beer, Bayern Lager strain from Omega. Mm-hmm. Brewed just super light, crisp, very, very easygoing, goes straight down. To be true to style, 100% Saaz hops also in that puppy. So,
oh, wow.
Nothing on the dry hop side, so technically not an Italian Pilsner. Just a true good drinking Pilsner. And especially with the weather here, it's nice that lagers kind of made that craft comeback.
Oh, yeah.
And we do a beer with a place called Half Bird in town.
Mm-hmm.
Great chicken place if you guys have the time while you guys are out here. And, that Pilsner is called Cockfight Pilsner. So
nice.
Trying to keep the Pilsner alive, man.
Oh, man, we're all about the crispy boys down in SoCal. In fact, Brandon and myself, next Saturday, we'll be at Lagerville down at Buellton, California. It's a huge lager fest, so we're really looking forward to that. So definitely right up my alley for sure.
Yeah, the Pils was amazing, but Joe, I got to ask you right off the bat, when you come out to this area, the Arts District where HUDL and tons of other great neighbor breweries are, I noticed a lot of cream ales on the menu. What is it with cream ales in Las Vegas? Because I love cream ales. I think you guys do them incredible, but I'm just curious because it's not like a super common style. What is it about cream ale in Las Vegas?
So I think when we were getting ready to launch early 2020, and we sat back and we talked about, what beer do you want to be a flagship beer? Cream ale just naturally came to mind. We want to do things a little bit different. So I have a partnership with a brewery in Chicago. We do a pistachio cream ale. That's our flagship beer there.
Wow.
This beer here, I think, to contend on the market and to give the distributors something different to help us out. Our cream ale finishes at 6%, and most are finishing at 5%. But the way that we ferment the beer at the temperature that we do it, it is super clean and super smooth. Even our high ABV beers, you have no idea you're drinking a beer that's at that level.
Yeah.
So we keep it super smooth. The key to that beer is Caribbean, which is a great malt. Which really balances everything out. A true cream ale has to have an adjunct in there. Yeah. So we use a little bit of flake corn, and that sweetness really, really plays off with the vanilla that we use. And we have it on nitro, and we also have it on CO2. So we do quite a bit of nitro. I'd say 25 kegs out for distro every quarter. So about 100 kegs a year, which in this market here, we're not quite San Diego yet. We're getting better, but we've been able to hit some of those nitro handles. But for the heat, for where Vegas goes, to me it's just the perfect beer. It's in the airport also, which obviously helps our volume. Yeah. And it's just a very clean beer. There's only 10 to 12 IBUs of Tettnang as the only bittering hop, so it's easy to regenerate our yeast. So our house yeast, I think we got 80 pitches out of it last year before the holidays or something happened, and I couldn't get another pitch. So
that's pretty good.
And you barrel age some cream ales as well. Is that correct?
Well, as legend tells it.
As
legend tells it, yes. So we have a beer called The Basement that went into bourbon barrels. We have a rum barrel-aged version of it that's on tap right now.
Wow.
We got really, really lucky last year on barrels. I think we got 24 barrels, and all 24 were perfect.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's almost unheard of. Normally you're going to have something that's leaking. You're going to have something that came and it's just totally dry. You're going to have to re-wet it. We got our tequila barrels, our rum barrels, and our bourbon barrels in perfect shape. But the basement version, the one on the bourbon barrel, that definitely had the most play possible. So
coming here, the first time I came here, which was a couple of years ago, it was the first time I'd ever had a barrel-aged cream ale. I've had a lot of barrel-aged beers and I've had a lot of cream ales, but never had a cream ale.
It's definitely something unique. When you told me about it, I was like, I had to rack my brain and be like, have I ever actually had a barrel-aged cream ale? I've done, so you see barrel-aged sours, obviously stouts, porters, it just, run the gambit of traditionally what's barrel-aged, and that is extremely unique. And I'm looking forward to sampling some of it for sure.
Yeah.
I love cream ales. Absolutely love cream ales, and when you think about it, when you said rum barrel, I was like, man, that's actually a perfect combination when you think about the kind of the flavor characteristics that a rum barrel can put off in a beer mixed in a cream ale. I think that's pretty awesome.
Totally. Well, we're sipping on something right now, Joe. Do you want to talk through that beer?
Yeah.
So our Imperial Stout is called 115, and that's basically just the longitude of Las Vegas. So
wow.
Throughout my career, I've been pretty successful at GABF or World Beer Cup on stout beers, and I think you have two of the best stout brewers in the country on one street. Abel Baker, Matt,
just came from there.
Dude, a couple of his Imperial Stouts are definitely world class, and so we all liked Russian Imperial Stouts, and we had to elevate our game to play along them. So this beer here is 10.5%. We do use a lot of Maris Otter as our base grain on it. It really gives the true depth. Also, a lot of the domestic chocolate and roast malts that are out, kernels are not plump. You can tell that there's a lot of corners cut. So we use Crisp and Thomas and Fawcett as mainly of getting our chocolate and roast into the beer. There's a little bit of oats to kind of help out the mouthfeel. And that's our standard Imperial Stout. And then we really kick in peanuts, and we use real chocolate in this beer also. Yeah. So we have this beer entered upcoming for World Beer Cup for judging.
Rightfully so.
No kidding.
Jesus.
One of the biggest keys is, everybody likes to use all these weird extracts And, on some of our beers we use extracts, but we try to use real purees as much as we can.
Right.
But the peanut beers that are out there are all that PB2 or...
PB Fit, yeah.
Yeah, weird synthetic aroma. So we decided to use real peanuts in this beer, and we use a salted peanut, which really helps derive the body and back of the actual aroma. So you get that nice, fresh, roasted peanut.
Totally. Justin is such a peanut butter beer head.
When we were here earlier chatting it up out in the front, and he was like, "Hey man, they got a peanut butter stout," and I was like, "Oh come on," and I was like, "Well," and then, so I'm glad we're having it on the show, and the first thing I have to say about it is, thank you for making something that obviously doesn't taste syrupy, because a lot of the peanut butter stouts or peanut butter porters, like you said, they use a lot of the, extracts and stuff like that. This 100%, like the first sip that I took, it tasted like I took a... like I'm at, what's that restaurant with the peanuts? Roadhouse. I took a whole peanut, dipped that sumbitch in chocolate, and threw it in my mouth. That's what this tastes like. A salted, like, ballpark peanut with chocolate. It is so damn good. This is probably one of my favorites. We were talking about one of my favorites. So Carl Strauss has made a peanut butter porter for years.
Yeah.
Their brewer left. They stopped making it, and they've been trying to reattempt it every year. This is better. This is...
Whoa,
night and
that's
day.
Better?
Wow.
That's a statement.
That's only the first beer.
This is amazing, but that's
No.
for Justin to say that it's...
This is like,
that's
so
a big deal.
my go-to beers, obviously Crispy Boys. Right now I've really been getting into dark lagers and stuff. That's what I've been drinking a lot of, is like everyday drinking beers. I get a hold of anybody, as long as it's a good brewery. If they make like a dark, black lager, I'm down. Stouts, I've been trying to, as I've gotten older, it's been harder for me to like really drink a lot of stouts, but they're still kind of my go-to favorite for when I go to breweries, and this one right here is stupid. Like, you have to try this. You really do. Like, it really tastes like a ballpark peanut dipped in chocolate. It's hard. Like, does it not? Like, have you ever thrown, like, when I was a kid, like, my dad would tell me, "What are you doing?" I'd throw the whole damn thing in my mouth, shell and all, and start crunching on it. It tastes like I'm eating the whole peanut with chocolate. Like, it is so good. Like, so peanut, like real peanut flavor, not fake extract flavor, but peanut flavor, and then chocolate, and it rinses clean. There's no bitterness to it at all. You did a damn good job on this beer. Really good.
Yeah,
I hope it does well in the, for sure. Gold medal.
I think it will. I really love the booziness of it. I feel like it's a little boozier, like higher ABV than like usual style of like a peanut butter, porter or peanut butter beer that I've had.
What is the
really
ABV on here?
10.5
Okay.
I'd be in so much trouble drinking this beer.
And we, the other key to this is you're putting in a salty and a sweet component, is making sure that you hit your batch temperature correct, and you want to dry the beer out to where once you put in those ingredients, it's not going to be cloying.
Yeah.
So this is one of those beers that every single time I write out a recipe, I think of what I want to taste before I write the recipe.
Okay.
And like, this is one that's definitely a different, things that we're putting in there with the peanuts and the chocolate of how to write that base recipe going in. But we just got lucky. We hit a home run, got the amount of peanuts that we added correctly, which was like 100. Yeah, it was a lot of 2-pound jars of salted peanuts going in there.
How's it doing in the tap room? Are people just kind of like losing their minds once they try it, or? I know peanut butter's hit and miss in the beer industry. For me, it's huge. Down in San Diego, it's huge. I don't know about up here in Vegas, though.
No, and I think we just passed our prime period for it. This is going to be a hard beer for most people to drink starting next week when it hits 92.
It's going to be a little warm.
It's over.
It's already starting to get warm. I'm already sweating. I was actually happy we were talking about it today. Down in SoCal, we've been getting trashed with like winter storms, and this is the first time I've worn shorts, and I don't know, that's why my legs are so white. It was the first time I've worn shorts in months, so I was like excited. I was like, warm weather.
Some people are looking at, they're like, man, I got
they're like,
so white.
this guy never gets out in the sun.
Man.
It's so funny. I used to live in Beaumont for about a year.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I heard Beaumont, I'm thinking Cherry Valley, Calamasa.
That's exactly where the craft lounge is.
I remember the Applebee's got built, and you're like, oh, wow. Fuck yeah, there's an Applebee's, man.
Yeah. Oh, wait, you should see it now. It's insane. They got Best Buy. They got what's over by Applebee's now? You got Chili's. You've got a Kohl's. You've got a fancy movie theater with the reclining seats. You got, Beaumont's
Look at that
really grown
IE.
up.
Yeah, man. And like Justin said, shout out to the Craft Lounge. Shout out Jimmy. Shout out Brandon Gray.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's dope. Maybe we should tell them, you need to figure out a way to get some huddle down here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be freaking dope.
They'd love it.
I'd be down for a little road trip down
There
there.
you go. A little tap takeover.
So, I know Redlands has had a big resurgence kind of in beer.
Absolutely.
I still have a really good friend that lives out there right on the golf course. So,
Okay.
Might be down. We'll have to talk after and see if we can make that happen.
Yeah, hit us up. We'll give you Jimmy's contact information. And
My
set
people,
some up.
his people,
Oh, yeah.
we'll make
We
it
know
all
something.
happen.
Yeah, man. They would
Awesome.
love your guys' stuff out there, man. It just
This beer right here would do well in Southern California. I can already tell you. There's always a market for it. I don't know what it is about SoCal and peanut butter beer, but I feel like whoever pulls out a peanut butter beer, it's one of those things where it comes out and it's gone. Like people just go crazy for it. So
yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Well,
Good.
I
so good.
know we're still sipping on this. Joe, I know we have you for like a limited time, and we got some other beautiful beers here on the table. Is there anything else that we want to crack open?
Well, yeah, I think all of them.
All of them. I know.
Let's
Where,
get in.
where do we
Yeah.
where do we start?
This is not the minor leagues, damn it. We're here to play ball.
Absolutely.
Which one should I pull first?
All
here?
right. I got them kind of in order for you.
Okay.
So our base beer is the vanilla cream ale, and what we wanted to do was incorporate a local component. So we have a local chocolatier inside the Paris called Hex, and they did a chocolate tasting with us. So unfortunately, I had to go down and taste chocolate from about 30 different countries.
Oh gosh,
He says unfortunately.
Origins.
You poor thing.
Light, dark, ran through their whole process.
Thank you.
Where
And what's
where did you go to? Where did you go to taste the chocolates?
Hex inside of Paris.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. So the Paris Hotel here. Okay.
So, and the only thing that they had told us ahead of time, there's another local chocolate place out here. I won't mention them because they never returned an email. Or I went down there in person 3 times, and they're kind of the bigger player.
Screw them.
But they totally missed the boat. And I think that this is a beer that is extremely unique. We didn't just put it in a stout or a porter, which I've done myself, but we try to think outside the box, and we try to think of something that's smooth. The Caribbean malt is what makes this beer, the flake corn and back, and it plays well off the chocolate. And it is a blend of light and dark chocolate, and we use chocolates exclusively from 2 different regions, Tanzania and also Ecuador. And those had, especially the Tanzanian, has a little bit of a cherry note to it, which really, really helps play off the beer. And our rookie season, we got a GABF medal for this beer.
Congrats.
I can see why.
super
man.
cool.
This is unique.
I've had this beer, Joe. I've had it on draft. I've had it on nitro, and this is my first time having it on can. And all 3 kind of take you on a little bit of a different journey. This, oh my gosh, man! I feel like it's like the first time I had it was maybe like 2 years ago. I feel like it's even better now. Like, man, I just, like you said about having both the white and dark chocolate aspects of it. I can really taste both of those aspects. Like, kind of hits you off the top with the white chocolate, and then you kind of end with the dark chocolate. But man, I love this beer.
Yeah, I was running a brewery in La Jolla back in 2003, and prior to that, when I had moved back to San Diego, I was an assistant at Pizza Port when they only had 2 locations.
Okay.
Worked at AleSmith when there was only fucking dairy tanks.
Wow.
And that was my first intro to like what a dairy tank is.
Yeah.
You're like, people made milk, we could make beer. Just how they did their pitching process. I learned so much in the 3 months I was there.
Yeah.
And I remember I called up, the name of the owner then, before who owns it now, was Skip Virgilio. And I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about doing chocolate and beer. And obviously lipids are bad for beer.
Right.
He's like, gee, you just can't do it. I'm like, forget it, whatever. I think I'm just going to do it. And I'm going to try to grind up the chocolate. So I took all these chunks of chocolate, took a rubber mallet, had everything sanitized, and just banged it open. I'm like, if I could do it on the cold side, after getting all the yeast out, clarifying the beer, I think I could get just that cacao. And if I could get the beer dry enough, I think the chocolate's going to really dominate the flavor and the aroma.
Right.
And that worked really, really well. Did that in Imperial Stout. We had a World Beer Cup medal for that. And that just kind of started my love for chocolate and what it can do in beer. And as much as I want to bag a lot of the pastry beers, as I'm old now, so I'm like a traditionalist.
Right.
But that's part of what really started it.
Yeah.
Putting chocolate in different ingredients in beer to get certain characteristics or certain aroma. The one cool thing about this Hex beer, outside the fact HUDL got its first medal, is just the fact that we did it in something light, and it really, really comes together.
It's crazy because first sip impression. One sip, everybody knows the rules, right?
Yes, sir.
So I was like, oh man, this is like we took the Cali Creamin' concept and we went hardcore on it, and we dominated it.
Yeah, that's a good call.
This is flipping it from a vanilla side into a chocolate side. I don't think I've ever actually had. Now I've had some golden stouts that have chocolate in them, but this is so easy drinking and so smooth, and then that chocolate back end that's on there is just delicious. This is stupid. No wonder it won a medal. I could see the judges. I've done a couple judging, even though I'm not certified, I'm still invited, so I'll go in there and judge different styles. But if this was in a cream ale category, it would stand out on the table if you had 30 different beers.
Yeah,
because there's not a whole lot of people doing stuff like this, and
man, they offer
crazy.
Yeah, and if you come into the tap room, they offer it, both regular draft and on nitro, and it's crazy on nitro too.
Yeah.
Get that soft, smooth, velvety kind of vibe with it. I mean, it's worth trying both versions. But wow,
I'm a fan of the nitro version myself. Although what we're tasting now, I think is our best version at the best way. I think we just hit every component perfect. Yeah. The grind of the chocolate, how we got it, the time that we aged it, getting the light, getting the milk, getting the light and the dark, all in the beer at the same time. So definitely like the nitro version, and we're getting ready to do a Mexican chocolate version.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
So
one of my favorite Belching Beaver beers, their stout, the Mexican chocolate stout that they have, is you got that nice chocolate in the foreground, but with that little spice in the background, it really comes through really well. And I think, are you doing it in the stout, or are you gonna do the cream ale version?
We're gonna do the cream ale version of it.
That'll be great.
So we're just gonna do a very small limited batch, probably just all at the brewery, and then I would love to see the chocolate vanilla full time, but there's only so many beers you could have out. Every market's different. But, trying to pick and choose, it's not easy. So,
totally understand, and I'll be right there here very shortly, as I mentioned before. So, something we have not talked about yet because we kind of hinted at it on earlier episodes, but we'll let the cat out of the bag for the listeners. The BeerDad and Brewed podcast, the BeerDad in specific, is starting a beer brand, and keep an eye out for BeerDad's Brew Works coming soon. We should be launching June 1. Dad Bod Beer, Blonde Ale, and Father Figure IPA. So look for those. Follow us on BeerDad's Brew Works. I'm really excited about it. It's been my dream to get into the brewing industry. Been doing this podcast for a long time, and I'm obviously a lover of craft beer. And shout out to Josh, original co-host. Love you, brother. I miss you. Thank you for teaching me how to brew, and I know it was our dream to open a brewery, and I'm working on it, brother. So June 1, maybe even a little bit before that, be on the lookout for BeerDad's Brew Works on a tap room, bar, liquor store shelf near you. Shout out to our partners, Creative Creature, as well, for helping us get kick-started. So, yeah, I'm excited. Pretty soon we'll be pouring at events near you as well, so I'm stoked.
Yeah,
Love
man.
that idea of a blonde ale.
Oh yeah, well,
So-
I'll show you the can art here. Really, really stoked. It's been working on it for a long time, and it's finally coming to fruition. And I couldn't be happier with how everything's turning out so far. So I'm really, really excited.
Yeah,
And the blonde ale is seeing a resurgence too. We do a blonde ale, and sales of a dog.
Dad bod beer.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm super proud of you, Justin, and I know Josh is with you in every batch.
Yeah, man. I mean, he taught me how to brew, and it's one of those things. I've gotten into this industry. I absolutely love it. Like I say, it's a passion for you, and it is for me. And I love everything about beer, brewing, the people, the industry. I love how beer brings people together, and I'm so happy to get this thing kick-started and bring beer to the people, and have a little fun with it too, with the dad jokes and everything else that we got going on. This is our father figure IPA, so I'm really excited about that too. Got the old 1987 Topps baseball card kind of thing going on. So
I wonder if that guy likes the Padres.
maybe.
Okay, Joe, we got another beautiful beer in front of us. Take us through it.
I do,
Looks like
but-
an IPA.
Now I'm thinking about the '87 Padres and my '87 Topps baseball cards.
There you go.
I was very partial to the '86 with just black on the top.
Oh
Like
yeah.
little white, yeah. I love baseball cards back in the day. Man.
Oh yeah, that's why working with the artists and kind of vision, and it all came together, and I'm really stoked, just to do a little throwback. And that's kind of the theme of my beer brand and eventual tap room is that the dad vibe, but with like retro theming. And obviously I'm just I'm in my 40s, so it's like go throw back to some of the stuff I used to do. I mean, I collected baseball cards. I love sports. And that's kind of the vibe that we're going with. So I'm pretty stoked. See how it works out. I hope it hits a home run.
It's a home run. All right, so we have a slew of IPAs just like everybody else. We only do one hazy IPA though because
Okay.
it's my least favorite beer style.
Okay.
We play the game. We do
You
it.
are
we do
a
it-
master
we
brewer.
do it. We do it a little bit different, but there's a lot of different malts out. So we have what's called our Shaggy Assassin, which is a rotational IPA that we do every single quarter. So on this beer exclusively, Great Western has a really nice Idaho Pilsner malt, which I'd used a few times in Chicago, which is really, really clean, crisp, but leaves like a really nice sweetness. I don't want to say it's bready, but like it's almost like a very, very light corn just on the body. And we dried
I
it
like
out
that.
pretty well. This beer finished at a 10-10, so 2.5 Plato. And then all Idaho 7 hops. And
Yeah.
we used it in bittering. We did a middle edition. We did a whirlpool edition. And we dry hopped 33 pounds in about 14 barrels. So aromatic, a little bit spicy, and we just want to showcase the two ingredients and do something different.
It's funny you say that because for the listeners, just so you know, there's no movie magic here. Joe and I have never actually met before in person. And he pulled out a peanut butter stout, which everyone knows that listens to this show, the BeerDad loves anything with peanut butter. Also, if you listen to the show, you know that Idaho 7 is one of my favorite hops. So it's funny that he pulled these beers out. It's like almost like I don't know, he had some intel, I don't know, or he just figured it out.
Damn good brewer.
Yeah,
Some
no.
bromancing here.
Right,
I might have
exactly.
to have my girlfriend leave.
Right, exactly. But wow, so like you said on the aromatics on this is little funky for those hopheads out there. You'll love that first inviting scent that you get with this. But on the flavor, what's really crazy is I get smacked with some hops in a good way, and it rinses so clean and just leaves that little bit of sweetness to balance out the bitterness of the hops. This is a damn good beer, man. Right here.
And
What are we hitting at ABV? You said 10?
It's the devil's number, brother.
Oh.
So I didn't want to bring that up. I mean,
We're
it's
in the
Easter
sixes.
weekend and all, but it's
All
6.66.
6.6.
And we actually hit our numbers on the nuts. The one thing I really, really wanted to showcase The owner here really dislikes Idaho 7.
Really?
And I like Idaho 7, so I'm like, I bet our next Shaggy that we come around, I will brew with 100% Idaho 7. You'll love it.
Yeah.
And really the key was, the 50 IBUs on 6.6 is a real good amount. But how we re-rouse and how we're doing our dry hopping and allowing that Idaho 7 to showcase, you get that first up front, the clean malt back of just using that straight Pilsner malt, and then just the additions being perfect, 30, 25 IBUs on the first, 25 on the second, 8 to 9, out in that whirlpool allows that hop to show. It's not astringent.
Very nice.
And just I'm a huge fan. So we're
awesome.
We're going to use Idaho 7 a little bit more moving forward, luckily. But we just want to showcase a couple really, really unique ingredients. Ashley, who's my assistant, who does most
met her. She's awesome.
A ton of the beer production now as we've really kicked up. Another kid, Cameron, we've hired on 6-7 months ago. He stepped up. He's really jumping in and starting to learn the process and, grow. The number one thing that's going to make you good. If you don't have a passion for this, the fucking job sucks, dude.
I know.
Man, for sure.
There's fucking chemicals everywhere.
I've always
cleaning
said
tanks.
I've always said the brewing part, other than the heavy, of course on homebrew, there's not a whole lot of heavy lifting, but the brewing part, that's the fun part. But the cleaning up is like you literally spend way more time cleaning than you do actual brewing, and it's just, oh man, it's so tedious and it's a lot of work. But at the end of the day, when you for yourself, fuck, dude, we've just been through 3 beers and they're all fucking solid. That's got to feel great.
Yeah.
And this one right here is stupid. And like I said, Idaho 7 is one of my favorite hops. And once it started coming out and getting more popular and a lot of breweries started using it, I'm like, fuck yeah. Yeah. And if any chance I get to brew something, I like it. I'm probably, with the Father Figure IPA, I'm going to make that a rotating IPA series. I'm probably going to go Idaho 7 on one of them. But it's just, I just love how this tastes, and it rinses so clean. There's a lot of people out there that don't like IPAs because they don't like the hoppy, bitter, smack you in the face taste. But I feel there's a couple hops that you can get away with it and really bring people in that don't like IPAs, and Idaho 7's one of them. Vic Secret's another one. And they try this and they get there like, oh man, I'm drinking this like really crazy hoppy beer because it rinses so clean. It's so easy drinking. This is another beer that would really get me in trouble. Yeah. I would hit an 8-pack on a boat, no problem, for sure. This is stupid good.
Yeah. Hey, and shout out. Oh, sorry, Joe. I didn't mean to cut you off. Yo, just shout out to your assistant brewer, your co-brewer,
Ashley.
Ashley,
yeah. She was awesome to us. She showed us around, got us set up, and we got to hear her story. And I just think that's awesome how you guys got her started. And
the first time I was here at HUDL, like I said a couple of years ago, she was here, and she was like the beer tender, pouring the beers, and she was super friendly, super knowledgeable. Like I asked her a couple questions about the beer, and she spoke so eloquently and beautifully about the beers. And I just remembered her, like, when Justin and I walked back in today, I was like, oh my gosh, I remember seeing her here, and she seems to really love brewing here and working with you, Joe.
Yeah, and she's starting to pick up her own style, and it's like a coming to Jesus time that you eventually have, because once you start learning the professional side versus the homebrew side of how to transfer a beer correctly, how to clean the tanks, pressures, why you're hitting valves in specific ways, that takes time. Yeah. Especially if you have no background. And I was really lucky. The first brewing job I had was Dallas in '99, a place called Copper Tank. And the lead brewer there was extremely mechanical. He was basically the Michael Jordan of mechanical. Dude could fix anything. Just loved it. And you have to learn that aspect, because if not, you're going to eventually get lost or spend so much money to have people fix your stuff. It ain't worth it. Yeah. So she's learned a lot of those mechanical aspects, and now she's starting to learn like what she likes. So she's writing up the next couple Shaggy Assassin recipes.
Wow.
And she's going to start to have some fun and flex her power. And we all have to learn like what we like. If we all like the same stuff, it would suck. So
for sure.
Luckily I like Idaho 7. He likes Idaho 7, and we're able to run with it. So, but you have to be unique. And the other thing that we do here that I don't feel a lot of other breweries are doing, or a lot of startups and people who just kind of read a book or had some money and want to start a brewery, is every beer here has an identity. I have my personal favorite hops, which are Amarillo, Simcoe, Centennial. Love me some El Dorado.
Okay.
But not every single IPA I brew gets those hops.
Yeah.
Columbus is my favorite bittering hop. I don't use Columbus to bitter every beer. Like every beer when you come in here has a different identity. Even on the two West Coast styles, our Knack Knack, our West Coast IPA, and then our Salty Squabber, which is our West Coast double IPA. And that's something unique, because some people just get stuck in a rut. I like this malt. I like these hops.
Yeah.
And it's a different color, same beer. That to me makes us kind of stand out. And especially today, it's about what are you doing different? How many beers can you have? And I'm the same way. If I go to a brewery, I don't want to drink the same beers every single time I come in. If I go in,
right,
a month later, like I want a different selection. Like, what have you done lately? And I think that's one thing that's really kept HUDL's name high. I think our beer quality high, and you have to learn also. So many hops are coming out. Nothing's named. And that kind of goes into the next beer that we're going to try, which is the Imperial Red Ale.
Yeah, man.
Stoked about that one, too.
Yeah, collab with Las Vegas Beer Snob.
Yes. And we put that dude to work, man. That dude earned. He came on Cannon Day Brew Day.
I really love following Las Vegas Beer Snob on Instagram. He's a great follow, man. Like, he just seems like a cool guy. We haven't had a chance to meet him yet, but
what I like, because I've been following him for a long time, is he put places on the map that I didn't know existed in Vegas.
Right.
And I've been in the craft beer game for a while, obviously. Born and raised San Diegan, moving up to the Inland Empire. I've spoiled, right, with Southern California craft beer. Coming up to Vegas, when you talk craft beer, we were just there having our brunch there at Ellis Island. I knew Ellis Island existed.
Oh, yeah. And,
of course, the Sin City on the Strip, right? And you don't really think of too much of craft beer out here in Vegas, so, in, say, the last decade or so. But I've been following HUDL, for a while now. You talk about them all the time. And I started following Las Vegas Beer Snob, and he's just like, he's all over the Vegas scene. And, like you had mentioned earlier, Vegas is really starting to blow up on the craft beer scene. And you guys just had a big beer fest out here, and it looked like it was pretty successful. Yeah. Another big guy in the industry, Chris over at Beer Zombies, bringing the craft beer scene out here into Vegas. I'm impressed so far. I mean, we've been to Able Baker here. We did a little pregame before we came here. And just this whole area, this arts district is kind of blown up, and it's so cool because it's so close to the Strip. Like, for me, I'm one of those Vegas people that I just want to come drink and people watch. I'm not a gambler. I hate freaking nightclubs. That's not me.
Right.
I maybe go to the sports book every once in a while, but not really gamble. Just watch some sports. Maybe throw some money on the Padres or Chargers. Shout out to my teams. Right, they suck, but hey, you know what?
Hey, it's all right. It's all right. Hey, but look, like, Justin, you and I, we're big beer fans.
Absolutely.
Everywhere we travel, we're always looking for, where's the closest brewery near us?
Absolutely. And everywhere I go, it's Googled right away.
Yeah, me too. And your wife, my girlfriend, they kind of roll their eyes, but they go with it. They go with it. Because we're lucky. We hit the wife/girlfriend lottery.
Yeah.
They know that we love beer.
We're
going to be looking for
famous statement from the beer wife is whenever we go somewhere new, and she's like, she trusts me to find something good to eat. it's always like,
got some beer.
no wonder we're coming here to eat.
Right.
There's a brew house. There's a brewery related to, like, when we went to Ellis Island.
Yeah.
We're walking up. Her and my daughter both looked up, and they're like,
Oh, it's a brewery.
casino and brewery. Shocking. And I was like, okay, well, we're really not coming here for the beer. We're coming here for the $10 steak and eggs.
Right.
But they do have beer here.
Yeah, but the beautiful thing is, like, this arts district community has opened up, which I'm sure, Joe could talk to. Hop Nuts has been here for a long, long time. But, there's been, the newer kids on the block, whether it's, you guys, Joe, with HUDL, Nevada Brew Works, Able Baker, Beer Districts, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It's blowing up. I kind of feel like you guys here in Vegas, the Vegas beer scene, harkens to Miami beer scene. And it's weird because, and I always thought, man, Miami should be huge like San Diego. And then when we went there to Irie Jungle last year, I was shocked to find out that it's just starting. And I feel like you guys out here are kind of just really blowing up. 2019, 2020-ish is when all the breweries started showing up, real breweries showing up out here. But yeah, man, you guys are doing it, and I think you're one of the better ones out here for sure.
We're starting our identity, number one, and here's the one thing about Vegas, and we have a lot of talent in this town now, and a lot of people that have won. It's hard, like our Olympics, the World Beer Cup, GABF. We have quite a few people that are putting up hardware all the time. Chicago Brewing Company had two major awards last year. We've hit our GABF medal. Able Baker had their gold for their quad, Monique.
Nice.
And so we've started up the Southern Nevada Brewers Guild to really promote local product.
Yeah.
We just got our nonprofit paperwork back from the IRS that was backed up. And have a couple of events that we'll touch on later in the year. And we really want people that are coming to town to know you can get good Vegas beer.
Yeah,
and
most definitely. Yeah.
the nights coming into town really have helped. People feel that there is a local flair here, and we're starting to see some of our better outposts. Downtown Summerlin, you have Town Square Mall, and even up and down the strip. There are restaurants that will carry good local beer now, and it's so hard to change that mindset and that culture so quick. But we're at 25 breweries now. When I moved here, there was pretty much Holy Cow, Big Dogs. Nope. Actually, Holy Cow wasn't even brewing that. So you pretty much had Big Dogs. Monte Carlo still had their brewery before MGM sold it to Hangar 94. Today, just such a small amount. Barley's was brewing out in Henderson, but very small volume. Like, we have really, really taken, leaps, especially in the last 5 years. 595 Crafting Kitchen out on the west side was huge in getting to it. You had mentioned, Beer Zombies coming out.
Yeah.
They were able to open up 5-6 locations.
Yeah, man.
I think.
It's crazy.
And so we're getting those outlets to where people are down for the change. And, we're all about, sourcing local and supporting each other, but letting people that live here know that they can get a good product
Absolutely.
anytime they want. And then the people that come to town, like when I go travel, I don't want to leave and go 40 minutes. Like if I'm in Nashville for a hot chicken sandwich, I ain't going 40 minutes. Because it don't matter how good the chicken sandwich is, I don't want to go 40 minutes and then wait an hour.
Right.
But I'm going to take a look at my bubble, and I'm going to take a look. And that's one of the cool things about the Arts District. Super close to the Strip. It's easy to get to. It's a super cheap Uber.
$10 Uber.
You can walk to
exactly.
3 or 4 spots.
Absolutely.
Exactly, yeah. Even more than that, man. And there's beautiful beer out here in the Arts District in Las Vegas. Beautiful beer, great places to eat, but most importantly, beautiful beer. Make sure HUDL is either your first stop or your last stop, because, I don't know, you ain't going to find better than
I look at it this way. For me, this Vegas scene, we're really... You guys are doing a great job as far as, like, blowing it up on the map. But, like, for our listeners, come on, guys. $49 Southwest flight to Vegas, and you are in Las Vegas, so you can do all the other extracurriculars. But for all our beer fans, our craft beer snobs, you get up here to Vegas, like you said, get out to the Arts District within walking distance. Got several breweries. There's a beautiful bottle shop and tap room called Cerveza, not too far as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And you just got to check it out and give it a shot. And I think Vegas is starting to adopt, like the whole craft beer scene for sure. You're starting to see them more in the breweries, a lot of the local independent craft breweries, and a lot of the casinos. And I love it, man. If we could just kick InBev and Constellation and all these fucking giant breweries like out of these large cities, I think it's great. Like you go down to San Diego, you're gonna find them in little bars here and there, but for the most part, like San Diego, like it's craft beer capital of the world, right? And you're starting to see that in other places, and I hope that for Vegas too as well, because you have people like HUDL Brewing Company making stupid good beers. Knock these guys out of here. Get rid of these. If you have to pay $1 more for a good beer, it's worth it. Trust me.
It's totally worth it. Yeah.
Yeah. These beers are stupid, and it's great that. And so you got 24-ish breweries out here in the Vegas area.
Right.
It's a cheap flight up here. You're gonna have fun up in Vegas, anyways. Please come and support the craft brewing community here in Las Vegas. And back to the craft brewing community with this Las Vegas Beer Snob collab. This is a red. I'm stoked because I've been following him for a very long time. Brandon, you've been following him as well.
Yeah.
I'm stoked for this. Like you said, he put his butt to work. I really love the can art because it's very similar to kind of some of our artwork that we use, and it's dope. It's dope. I love a red. That's kind of what got me into beer. I was a Killian's drinker for a very long time before I got into craft beer, and this is right up my alley. Josh and I, my former co-host that passed, we brewed 2 back-to-back reds together. One with we got with a water salt company that makes different water profiles for home brewers.
Yeah.
And we did 2 reds with the exact same recipe. One with his house water that he used at his home, and then one with the it was from Killarney, I'm trying to remember, somewhere in Ireland, but water profile, and same recipe, but obviously using the different water profile really changed the flavor of the beer. Yeah. So I'm down for the red, so I'm excited for this.
Outside just the flavor, how was the aroma different?
It was way different. So what you got from when you use the water profile from Ireland was the beer. So on the aromatics, you got more of like that kind of like cigar-y, like almost like a cherry flavored Swisher Sweet kind of scent. And flavor wise, it was sweet in a good way, and it almost had like a barrel age quality to it. And literally the only difference in the beer was the water profile. We didn't change anything. We did 2 back-to-back 5-gallon brews. Josh had that crazy spider contraption that he built for home brewing.
Yeah.
And I brewed one, and he brewed one, and one had the salt, one didn't have the salt. And it was crazy how different it was with that profile, the water profile that they sent us. It was just insane. So I love Irish Reds. Like I'm good. I'm red ales.
Man.
This good beer.
Anybody that's coming out to Vegas that loves beer, Las Vegas Beer Snob, he's a good follow because he'll kind of tell you, where to go, what beers to try, and the HUDL is going to be top of the list. But Joe, I know we have one more beer to get into, but anything else that you want to add to the red ale in terms of the brewing process or kind of what goes into it?
Like one of the cool things on this beer is when we sat down with the Beer Snob was, and we talked about beers to do. Our first beer together was just a standard American red ale. Pretty aggressively hopped, especially on the dry end, as this one is. We use 66 pounds of cryo hops in a 14-barrel batch. Wow. And the average cryo hop is out over $30 a pound.
Yeah.
So when you talk about, not cutting expenses and just we go into everything to want to make the best beer ever, every single time we brew something. And it was cool that he was down to do a couple of real beer styles because everybody only wants to do, sours or hazy IPAs.
Right.
And we've done a couple of those, but he's very humble, easygoing. Works over at Cerveza also.
Yeah.
Is very up to date and just very down to earth. And when we came up with the recipe with him, like everything's clicked both ways. And this particular beer is 8.8%.
Wow.
Does drink smooth, and one of the hardest things about it, this beer style is just the malt, the grain. Crystal 80 is like where you really start to get those raisiny notes, and being able to pick a hop selection that's going to dominate over those caramel notes.
Yeah.
So we get our hops from a couple different hop purveyors, but Willamette Farms, their rep just happened to walk in one day where I needed hops. And Yakima Chief, which we got a lot of hops from, their site was down. And we used their experimental, their 586, which was really fruity and a different beer, almost like a fruit cocktail. I can't explain it. So we want to combine that with like a little bit of dank, and we really, really knocked it out, dried it out. And this beer recipe is written, I went to Humboldt State.
No shit.
Ironically,
Awesome.
along with Ashley. I don't want to date myself, but it was 1996.
Humboldt State, wow.
And Humboldt Brewing Company was very, very prevalent, and that ended up being my brewing instructor when I went to the American Brewers Guild. And Red Nectar was the beer that everybody drank. So this recipe is actually, it's not a clone, but the malt body is. So it's Great Western 2-row. It is white wheat for a little bit of body, a little bit of head retention, and we use. I used to use Great Western Crystal 75, but they don't make it anymore.
Yeah.
So we used Breest Crystal 80. In this particular batch, we were putting in World Beer Cup. Should have a little bit of a toasty or a bready character to it also. So there's only about 1.5%. We use biscuit malt in it. And then everything is about, the hopping up front, middle, and then that dry hop, I think is really, really killer. So I think we hit a home run. Great beer. So
I think so too. I mean, we already talked about my love of reds and the style. That you nailed the color, you nailed the head, you nailed the aroma. I mean, everything's here. Las Vegas beer snob. Shout out to you too. You got put to work. But yeah, I really like this beer. This is something that, for me, like wheelhouse wise, I told you I like dark lagers, but I also like red ales and stuff like that. But this is like my pool beer right here, for sure.
Did you say Real Housewives?
Wheelhouse.
Okay.
No, Real Housewives.
I thought I heard Real Housewives.
Yeah.
All right, just
We got those. The beer wives back at the hotel, holding down the fort with all the kids. The tribe.
Hey, look, man.
How old are the
if you're a
kids?
big,
Oh, jeez.
Let's go there first.
We got the beer tribe. So when you come to Vegas with my family, you can't do a hotel room. It's got to be a 2-room suite. But I've got 3 myself, and then I kind of have my nephew who I've helped raise as well. So I've got my wife, my sister-in-law, my nephew, and then I've got my 3 kids. My daughter, she's 14, and then I have my son Hunter 4, and Emran is 3. So we got 14 Kaylee, where we thought we were done, and then all of a sudden 10 years later, here comes Hunter, and we're like, oh, we're done. And then my wife was like, yeah, we're done. And then here comes Emran 15 months later, and here I am, in my late 30s at that time. I'm like, I got 2 little babies. This is crazy. It's a lot of work, but I love my family, and that's why I'm the BeerDad. I mean, they're very supportive. The wife, she kicked my ass to get the beer company started, and she's been very supportive of the podcast. And it's been an amazing journey trying to get her to drink beer. Finally found some beers that she liked, because originally she never drank beer at all.
Yeah.
So that's been fun. Same thing with the sister-in-law. She only drank Budweiser. And I was like, I'm going to kick this habit no matter how hard I have to work to find a beer. And finally I found beers that she likes. And so it's been a journey. But yeah. The BeerDad has a tribe. They're back at where are we staying? The Flamingo, Hilton
Flamingo.
Something like that.
Right back in the Flamingo.
Yeah.
The beer
2-bedroom
family,
suite. We got
See, that's.
Shout out to the beer family.
Yeah, they're great.
Well, next time up,
Okay.
I have a separate room. So
Okay.
I got 2 kids. They're 4. I totally get it, man. Like,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
adult time is hard to come by.
it is.
Adult time
It
is
is
hard.
So and that's what this was what I love. My wife is like, she's like, hey, going to Miranda Lambert concert with Jess. That was her Christmas present that she got her this Christmas, and she goes, do you want to go and like maybe do some podcasts out there? And I was like, 100%, absolutely, yeah.
Hell
so
yeah.
we have all day today to do some brewery hopping, do a podcast, and enjoy ourselves. And then tomorrow I'm on daddy duty while they go to Miranda Lambert. So
Well,
here
we got
are.
lucky with the best brewery in Las Vegas, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
HUDL
Anyway, Brewing.
Okay,
Holy
That's the
shit.
correct opinion.
Joe, walk us. So we've had you for a nice amount of time, and we appreciate your time. Looks like we're ending the night with a nice.
This is the
bourbon
best
barrel.
nightcap, dude.
Okay, all right.
115 Asian bourbon barrels. One of the harder things about doing barrel-aged beers in Vegas is just the temperatures that we deal with. We could have the air conditioning on in the summer here all the time, and it'll be 80, 85 degrees at the coldest. So, there's other breweries that count for a 20% loss on doing, barrel-aged beers. Like I said, we got lucky on the barrels that we got in. We brought them in late October to fill them in November to try to get as many months as we could aged on it. And this beer is 6 months in Heaven Hill barrels, and it was the right amount of time. Came out perfect. I think we transferred it first week of November. So November, December, January, February, March, April, end of April. So almost 7 months in those barrels. But the one of the things I've really noticed in the industry, and so many breweries coming along, is how to properly do these barrel aged beers. And I see a lot of brewers racking off, which means transferring. From end of fermentation, where you still have active yeast available, even though your beer's been crash chilled for 2 weeks, and they're taking this beer and they're putting it in a barrel they just spent $300 for, $250 with shipping today, $400 something bucks a barrel, and you're putting beer with yeast in it, and the yeast is only going to continue to die in that barrel. So the one thing we do multiple racks on a lot of our beers to make sure the beer is as clean as possible. And like that's what makes the chocolate vanilla so good. There's a transfer. The beer is clarified. It's clear. There's no yeast in there. Then we take the clean beer and put it in the chocolate. We put the clean beer and we put it on the barrel. This one had dark cherries added back to it. And then again, we did chocolate with it. But this beer definitely boasts over 12%. So I think it's 12.2.
It's beautiful.
When we had it tested.
Yeah, it's like this. It's like this beautiful, boozy little cherry. Special.
I'm in euphoria over here because, again, Joe, you like mind melded or something. I don't know what's going on here, but a little secret of the BeerDad, and a lot of people know this. Every Christmas, my vice at Christmas time, cherry cordials. You get them,
Queen Anne's.
Oh my God, yes. This beer not only paired with it, but just, God damn, it tastes like a cherry cordial. Like, it's stupid. Like, this is so damn good. And barrel aged for me is like, it's something that I used to really be into. And like I mentioned before, as I've gotten older, it's harder for me to drink them, because I'm sticking to the crispy boys and whatnot. But I still appreciate all kinds of styles of beer. Obviously we talk about in the podcast and stuff like that. But this is so damn good, and it's dangerous for me because I like it so much. Like, I would drink a whole bottle of this, whereas most stouts, especially barrel-aged stouts, like for us down in SoCal, we get like Bottle Logic and stuff like that. Those are the bottles that like I crack and I share. I would be greedy with this because it literally literally takes me back to Christmas time. Like, I'm in a cherry cordial and popping them in my mouth, and I go through the whole box. My mother-in-law, she knows damn well, like, during Christmas time we always go to a cabin up in Idlewild, and she always buys cherry cordials for me and for herself too. But I usually, like, I get into them and I pop them like potato chips, because I don't eat a whole lot of chocolate throughout the year, but Christmas time when we're in the cabin, it's like let it go and just enjoy yourself, because you're not going anywhere, you're drinking, you're having a good time, and I love cherry cordials. And this right here, I would pair this with cherry cordials and I would drink this. This is the perfect, like, Christmas time beer for anybody that likes chocolate and cherry flavor. You nailed it for sure. Great job on this.
Thank you, man. And that's one of the part of sourcing the chocolate and getting those specific notes. And it was weird because, to me, of all the 4 ingredients of beer, water chemistry has always been the least important. But there's still an importance to it. And when we were tasting the chocolate and the regions, and that cherry note playing off on that bourbon barrel, and it was Knob Creek, Heaven Hill, and it was equal. It was, I think, 4 casks of each, so we did 8 total casks.
Wow!
And it was just the perfect blend, and that cherry note on that Tanzanian chocolate played off well, and then throwing the true cherries in back, just it ended up perfect, man. Sometimes you hit home runs. Every now and then you strike out.
Especially, like you say, home runs and striking out with the barrel age. It's very easy with, certain barrels. Sometimes you develop the characters or flavors or off flavors that you don't want in a beer, and sometimes you end up dumping stuff. And then sometimes you just hit that home run, that perfect balance with a barrel and the type of beer that you're going for, whatever adjuncts that you're adding to it. And man, you hit this one like right on the head, dude. Like, man, like, you pick every single beer that, even the pregame beer that I had, the Pilsner. I have not had a bad beer since I've been here at HUDL. This is crazy. And I don't want to say where we went before here, but and Brandon can attest to this, because as we were walking here with all our equipment up the street, I had told him I did a flight, and I was like, nothing knocked me away, nothing like really threw me back in my chair. But of the flight, there was 4 beers. I had 2 that were decent. One was probably better than the other, and then the other 2 I was like, not even, no. And I'll never knock a brewery. That's why I won't say who it was. But every beer I've had here, and legitimately not blowing smoke, is freaking great. I have my favorites, but man, this last one, this barrel-aged one, is stupid good. It literally tastes like a chocolate-covered cherry, like the Queen Anne fucking cherries, like stupid. And then that peanut butter stout was dumb. Like, I don't know. I literally feel like I was eating whole peanuts dipped in chocolate. It was stupid.
Yeah.
Like, everything's good here. The Idaho 7 was amazing. The Vegas Red was amazing. The chocolate cream ale was like something that I've never had. I've actually never had a cream ale with chocolate until today, and I'm glad I had it. So you're doing a damn good job here, Joe, and as well as your assistant brewer. And
shout
your cellarman.
Shout out to Ashley. Shout out to Cameron, right?
Yes,
Cameron and the cellarman.
You got a good crew here for sure. You guys are doing
kidding,
great,
man. The beer is great. When Justin and I were talking about coming to Vegas, it was like, all right, if we're gonna do a show with any brewery, HUDL's at the top of the list. Hopefully we can get him. So we're so appreciative to you and to the team. Tanner also, who we talked to help us set up the show.
Tan Man.
Yeah, the Tan Man. Shout out to him. Just thank you, man. Thank you for having us. Thank you for sharing this beautiful beer. This is gonna be the first of many trips for us coming out here, and we just want to spread the word, the HUDL word.
Yeah.
And
I feel like some collabs in the future.
Yeah.
Either both the podcast as well as BeerDad Brewers.
We're all San Diego people originally, so.
All right. You come to visit us down in San Diego and Beaumont too. We'll get you hooked up with Jimmy at the Craft Lounge, and
part of the way there.
Yeah, absolutely. Love to do a tap takeover down there. That'd be great.
Yeah, most definitely.
Kind of one one of the last things I want to end up with that we do that's different from everybody else is we actually write our beer recipe on the fucking label.
Wow.
That's awesome.
You go, and
that's
it's
awesome.
like, what's this? And I think it was kind of Rogue and John Meyer that originally started talking about, this is my 2-row that I use. This is this. And then, he had his old Packman yeast. Just like, it's cool. Like, I think nobody's going to brew a beer as good as I do. And I think that's just kind of the mindset going in. But at the same time, I learn from everybody. I learn from how Abel does her dry hopping. I learn from, Tenaya Creek on their brown ale of what we wanted to, do the few times we did a brown ale. Like, you have to take a little bit from everybody and just, we don't make anything secretive. This is what we do. This is how we do it. That's the whole recipe. You think you do it better? Go do it better. But, I think that's one of the beauties of what we're doing.
Yeah, that's like the beauty of a beer community, right? Is everybody has their own preferences, their own styles, or whatever, and you guys all kind of share with each other. And like you're talking about whether it's Hop Nuts or Tenaya Creek, that are kind of the OGs of the area in Las Vegas, and you kind of learn from what they're doing and making your own. And yeah, man, we're really appreciative that you guys had us out here. Like I said, just in my personal life, I've done a little brewery hopping out in Las Vegas, and HUDL was like always a place that was my favorite, that really stood out to me. And I just saw you guys had like some really incredible beer, and I'm just really appreciative that you had us out here, man. And hopefully this will be the
anytime.
Hopefully this will be the first stops of many. As Justin was talking, he's got, BeerDad Brew Works working, and, he's looking to collab. And
I'll be down in San Diego in June, middle of June.
Perfect timing.
Yeah,
that's when we go live.
Anytime you're out in our hood, you're welcome anytime.
Absolutely.
So,
Mikasa, Sukasa, you hit me up for sure. We'll go do some brew hopping, hit the Hop Highway, and you're more than welcome to come down. I would love to brew with you. I mean, obviously you have way more experience than I do. I've only been brewing for 4 years, and commercially, this is my first go around, learning from the head brewer at Creative Creature, Mikey. What's up, brother? I'm all ears and learning and soaking it all in. Obviously, commercial is a whole different beast than home brewing. I appreciate you having us, and I really thank you. Like I said, in not blowing smoke, and I won't do it. Like, if I tell you like I don't like something, I'll still talk good about it, and I'll tell you afterwards. But I can tell you right now, everything I had here today was fantastic. You're doing a great job. And one thing that I can tell you on the brewing standpoint, and I can tell people that want to come to Las Vegas, there's 2 things that I can tell you when a brewery is going to be amazing, right? One is if you try their Crispy Boy and it knocks it out of the park.
Oh, yeah.
You know that they're going to be making some good beer, because we already know that is one of the harder things to perfect. Even though it's mass-produced and commercialized with InBev and all these other companies, on a brewing standpoint, it's not easy to hit that benchmark. And that Pilsner was fucking ridiculous. It was super crispy. It was everything I wanted. It was German style. It was great.
Yep.
And then the other thing is you have a clean, eat off the floor brew house back here. It is super clean. Your equipment is clean. Everything is dialed. You have great staff here. You already know when you see a brew house like this, when you come back here to the back of the house, and like I said, I could eat French toast off the floor here.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
You guys do a great job here, so kudos to you and all our listeners. You have to come to Vegas. You have to try HUDL Brewing Company. You will not be disappointed. Maybe you don't have the 4 or 5 beers that we had here today that were benchmark and right on the money and everything that I wanted, but you got plenty on the tap. I'm sure there's something for everybody. You're going to find something you like here at HUDL Brewing, and Joe was saying, Brandon was saying, you're in the Arts District, you're within walking distance of plenty of other breweries, so you can brewery hop. I mean, literally, there's a brewery 2 doors down from you.
Right.
So, there's all kinds of stuff. But kudos to you, and again, thank you for having us here in your house.
Yeah, thank
All right,
you
man.
so
Cheers.
much.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right.
All right, so we're going to end this, Joe, here on our show at the BeerDad and Brew podcast. We always end the show with Grandma. We've had her hiding somewhere. You're probably like, what the heck? Is there really a Grandma here? But we always have Grandma in the show for us. And, again, thank you, HUDL Brewing Company, Las Vegas, Nevada. Come check them out just north of the Strip. You cannot miss it. There's plenty of stuff within walking distance. Great food is from what I'm being told as well here in the Arts District. So here's Grandma. Again, HUDL Brewing Company. Cheers. BeerDad and Brew podcast. Check out BeerDad Brew Works. Coming soon, June 1st launch date. I'm stoked. Cheers, everybody.
They also practice by drinking the urine of a ram.
The what?
They drink ram's piss.
Because of the pH balance?
No, because if you can drink ram's piss, fuck, you can drink almost anything.
She said fuck.
Oh, what is the malted liquor? What gets you drunker, quicker? What comes in bottles or in cans? Beer! Can't get enough of it. Beer! How we really love it. Beer! Makes me think I'm a man. Beer! I could kiss and hug it. Beer! But I'd rather chug it. Beer! Got my belly out to here. Beer! I could not refuse it. Beer! I could really use a beer. Beer! Beer! I can't remember how much I have had. I drank a 12-pack with my dad.